So today we are going to see the concept of class and objects in Java programming. So let's see what is the class and what is the objects. So class is a group of data members and member functions. So as we are saying, class is a group of data members and member functions. So data member means nothing but variable and arrays. So if you are writing int a, so this we call it as a data members. So variable declaration or a variables we are using to store a data, we call it as a data members. And member function is nothing but the methods. For example, if you are using void display as a function name, okay, void display, or I'm like just writing disp. So if I'm writing void display, and if that is a function, so function we call it as a methods. Okay, function we call it as a methods. It can be any functions. For example, if you are doing an addition program and you want to take a function name as sum, so int sum is also a method. Okay, so these are the concepts of data members and member function. So class is a group of data members and member functions. Next is a class is a group of objects which have common properties. So as we will be creating a class, it will have some group of objects. If there is a class, obviously there will be an object which will have a common properties. So what is the object we are going to study? So class is a user-defined blueprint or a prototype from which objects are created. So these all are the definitions of class. So class is a user-defined. This means you can give any name to the class which a user want or which you want. So class is a user-defined blueprint or a prototype from which objects are created. Now, what exactly a class contains? So, class contains fields, methods, constructors, blocks, nested class, and interface. So, all this is contained into a class. This is the concept of class. Now, let's see what is the syntax to create a class. So, this is the syntax to create a class. See, a class is a keyword which we have to define first. So class, then you have to give a class name, and inside that there will be some fields and there will be some methods. Now for example, I am taking a class test, or I want to take a class student. So how I will write? Class and then name of class. I'm writing a name of class as student. Okay, class student. Now inside that class student, I want to take some fields and methods. Fields is nothing but data members and methods means member function. So if I am writing int name, int roll number. Okay, so this will be my field, and I want to take a input, or just I want to display that roll number. And but here I am taking one function as void display, and inside that function I'm displaying the roll number. Then this we call it as a methods. So these are the methods and fields inside the class. So this is how we create a class in Java programming. Just remember the syntax of class. The next concept we have is a object. So as we say, class is a collection of objects, or we say that class is a blueprint from which objects are created. So now what is this objects? So object is a real world entity. Object is a real world entity, and object is also an instance of class. So if we have class, then only we can create object. Without class, we cannot create an object. So we say that object is an instance of class. Object is an entity having its own properties. So these three are the definitions of object. Now, how to initialize an object? So we have three ways to initialize an object. So first is by reference variable, second is by methods, and third is by constructor. So all these three ways we are going to see. First is by reference variable, then by methods, and then by constructors. So now the question arises, how to create an object? So let's take one example. I suppose I am taking one class as test. Yeah, I have taken one class as test. I have taken one class as test. So inside the main method, you have to create a object of class. So how to create a object of class? Then there will be first name of the class, that is test. Then write an object. I'm just writing T as an object name is equal to new test. That is my class name. So with the help of new keyword, I am just defining my object, that is test T is equal to new test. So class name, object name is equal to new class name. So this is the syntax of object creation. So let's see with the demonstration. So I have taken one notepad. Now I want to create one simple class and I want to create an objects for that class. Now suppose my class name is, for example, fruit. Okay, my class name is fruit. Then my objects could be multiple objects which are belonging to the fruit category. For example, I have apple, I have mango, I have banana, I have papaya. So these apple, mango, banana will be the objects of that class fruit. Okay, so this, as we say, object is an instance of class. This means that apple, fruit, banana are instance of class fruit. So let's take one example. I am writing a class so we are seeing the example of class and objects. So here in this case, I am taking one class. Okay, so let's take one class as a student. Class name can be any name which you want. Okay, so I've taken class student. In that, I want to define the fields of class. So I'm defining the fields of class, that is int id. Okay, int id. I have taken one field or a data member or instance variable. So you can call this as data member or instance variable or field. Or field. Okay, so I've taken one int id. Then I'm taking one name as string nm. Now I'm writing I'm writing my main method, that is public static void main. Inside the bracket I'm writing string args. So I have written my main method now. Now inside the main method you have to create the object. So remember that every object is created inside the main method only. We cannot create object outside the main method. So like we can create, but in this purpose we are creating inside the main method only. So let's see how to create an object. So as we have the syntax of object creation, that is class name, object name is equal to new class name. So here I will write class name, that is student. So I will write S as a object name, student s is equal to new student. See how I have created an object, that is student s is equal to new student. Okay, so this is a way to create an object. Now I want to print the values of object. So as I said that in the PPT we have seen there are three ways to initialize an object. So first way we are seeing, that is by reference variable. Okay, creation of object by reference variable. So see now how to access that objects. We will see, just write system dot out dot println. Now inside that system.out.println, I am just printing the ID and name of the data members, or that student ID and student name I have to print. So how to access members through reference variable. Okay, so we are seeing how to access members through reference variable. Okay, so we are seeing how to access a members through reference variable. So see now how I am accessing my members through reference variable. That is, so my object is now S. Okay, my object name is now S. Student S is equal to new student. We have created an object S. So to access the fields or a members through reference variable, that is object dot, that is S dot ID. S dot ID. Now similarly, I want to access a name. So how to access a name? S dot nm. So with the help of s dot nm, I will access a name. So let's save this code as student.java. Student.java. So I have stored this name as student.java. So ID, suppose let's give a static ID. I'm giving 20 as a ID and name. Okay, I have given a name. Statically I have given, I have not taken from user. But if you want to take from a user, then after this main method, you have to declare, if you're using a scanner class, then you have to create an object of scanner class. Then you have to take an input from a user with the help of scanner class, and then you have to display the output. So let's run the code. I'm went into the command prompt. I'm just writing java c student.java. My class name is student, so I'm writing student.java. Okay, so name should be compulsory in double quotes. If you're using string nm, name should be in double quotes. So I have made the corrections. There are no any errors. Java student. So I have run the code Java student, and see my output is now 20 and John. The values which we have given to the ID and name, that is displaying. See the code again. What I have did, I have taken one class student. I have mentioned the data members. Then inside the main method, I have just created an object and accessed that ID and name. So this is the simple program of taking or just displaying a members or a data members through reference variable. This we call it as reference variable, s.id. We are referencing that ID through an object s. So now let's take this input or this ID and name from user by using scanner class. So now if I want to take an input from a scanner class, I know first I need to import package called as util. So I'm writing import java.util.star. Okay, import java.util.star. After that, I need to create a object of scanner class. So how should I create an object of scanner class? Scanner sc is equal to new scanner. Inside the bracket, I'm writing system dot in. Okay, so I've created an object of scanner class. Now I want to take that ID from an user. So the data type of ID is int. So I'm writing ID is equal to sc dot next int. This will help us to take the input from user. Sc dot next int. Sc is the object of scanner class and next int is the method which will help us to take an input as an integer from an user. Next is name. So name is by default in a string form. So I don't need to convert anything. I will just write sc dot next. And then we have displayed that sc.id and sc.name. So I have saved this code. Let's run this code. Okay, so these are the non-static members as we have taken this members outside the main method. So what I will do, I will take that inside the main method. Okay, and I will run this code. Now see, you will observe that I'm getting that s.nm. Okay, into variable s.nm. We cannot access through reference variable or s.id because we are using this s.id as an object reference. This means if you are writing any of the variable outside the main method, then that object we can reference through the my object variable, that is s.id. So when I'm taking that in data members inside the main method, we cannot access through s.id because it is inside the main method. And if I'm taking outside, okay, see, if I'm taking outside the main method, then I will show you, I need to make that static. So it is non-static variable and we cannot reference the non-static variable. So what I need to do is I need to write a keyword called as static. So what is this static data member and what are the static references? We are going to study it in the next lecture. So for today, only remember, if the data members are outside the main method, we can access that data members with the help of object reference or a reference variable, that is s.id. So s is the object. Okay, so this is one way, that is with the help of reference variable. So first way we have seen, that is to initialize the object by reference variable, or we can access the object by reference variable. Now next we will see, that is by method. So let's see the same with the help of method. So I have done changes, that is class name I have given student1. So we'll see with the help of the method how we will access. So one way is, let's take the same code, okay, with the help of methods. Now the earlier which problem we were facing, that we cannot access the data members or we cannot take the user input, that can be avoided here. See, now I have taken class student1, then I have data members int id and string nm, then I have taken one object I have created, scanner sc is equal to new scanner system.in, or now that object I will take into the class student. See, I have taken the object created. Then I am taking one data function, or you call it as member function, void get data. Void get data I have taken as a member function. Okay. Now in the void get data, I am taking a user input. So to the user, I am displaying enter your ID and enter your name. So in the get data, I'm just displaying the user, enter your ID. And I want to take the input from a user for that ID. So I will write ID is equal to sc dot next int. Okay. Similarly, I am going to take name from a user. So I'm writing enter your name and I want to take name from a user, but name is in the string format, so I'm just writing sc dot next. Okay, so see what I have did. I have taken a user input. First I have created a class, then I have declared a data members, then I have created an object of scanner class, then I have taken one member function, and in that member function I have taken a user input. Now I am taking another member function, that is void display, and in that member function, now student remember one thing. Many students do one mistake. After writing a member function, many students give semicolon, but here should not be a semicolon. Okay, so just I'm writing void display, and inside that void display I'm going to print the name and ID of the user. So I'm writing system.out.println. Inside that I'm displaying ID is equal to ID, and similarly I am going to write name. So see, now what I have did, I have taken two two member functions. First is void get data and second is void display. Now inside the void get data, I have just taken an user input, and inside the void display, I have just displayed the ID and name. So whatever we are going to take it from a user, in a get data function, I have just declared, or I have just displayed that into a void display function. Okay, so these two we have did, that is void get data and void display. Now I had closed the class. See again what I have did, I will explain you. See, now I have taken one class student1. Okay, in that student1 I have declared a data members, that is int ID and string name. After that I have created a object of scanner class. For scan, as we are using a scanner class, I have imported java.util.star. Then I have taken a member function called as getData. In that member function, I have taken a user input, that is ID and name I have taken. Then I have taken a display as another member function, and in that display I have just displayed the ID and name which I have taken from a user, and then I have closed my class. So this is one class student1. Okay, now I'm taking another class called as test. Okay, I'm taking another class called as test, and in that class I'm writing public static void main string args, that is my main function. After that I want to create an object of above class. So what is my class name? That is student1. So I have to create an object of this student1. So how to create an object of student1? See, student1 s is equal to new student1. And then I have just printed this. Okay, now you want to access the member functions. Okay, we are accessing with the help of methods. That means get data and display you have to access. So how to access that? Now see, with the help of this object variable, that is s, I will access the methods, that is display and get data. So how to access that? S dot get data. Similarly, I will access display, s dot display, and I will close the class. See, what I have did is I have taken one class student1. In that student1, I had displayed get data and display functions. Get data will help to take a user input, and display function will help to display the whatever you have taken from an user. Then I have taken a class test. In that I have written a main method, and then I have created an object of previous class, that is class student1. And with the help of that object variable, I have accessed a member functions s.getData and s.display. So this is the simple program with the help of methods, or by using a methods. We are accessing data members with the help of methods. So let's run the code. Now, again one thing. The main statement is into a class called as test, right? The main statement is into a class called as test. So you need to save your code with the help of that class name only. So I need to write test.java. Okay, wherever you have this main method, that class name you have to give to the file. So I'm writing java c test.java. So there are no any errors. I will compile it java test. Now it is saying enter your ID. So I have written my ID. Then it is saying enter your name. Now see, it is displaying the output as ID is equal to 10 and name is equal to Sharvali, which we have taken as a user input. So these are the two ways which we have seen today. That is, first is by reference variable and second is by using a methods. That is nothing but member function. So these are the two ways, by reference variable and by methods. In the next lecture, we will study with the help of constructors. So today we have seen the two methods, that is creation of object or to initialize objects or to access the data members with the help of by reference variable, and another was by methods. And in the next time we will see it by constructors.